So here we are, and this is almost exactly 3 years after we made this exact same video, sitting on the front porch of our last project house. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And I thought that would be the last one. Actually, I thought the one before that and the one before that, when we lived in a different state, would be the last one. But here we are, 3 more, and this is going to be the last one, right?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, today is day 1 of our project. To back up a second, we were walking around the neighborhood and found a deal that was too good to pass up. Our short-term plan is to remodel this, and our medium-term plan is to turn it into a medium-term rental, which means 30 days or more. Long-term, I think we might actually move into this house, right? I think this would make a great home to retire in once the baby birds leave the nest.
That is correct. And the reason that our medium-term plan is to medium-term rent this property is because the property is located in an HOA that has a no short-term rental rule within the documents. If you are buying a property and it's in an HOA, read through all of those HOA docs. And there's hundreds of pages of HOA docs sometimes, but you got to read through all of them to make sure that you can do what you want with the property.
Yeah, and we knew that going into this. I don't think a short-term rental, while the numbers could be a little bit better, is something I don't want to do anyway. There's a lot of work involved in flipping a property. That's probably at least 3 or 4 hours, maybe even longer, to flip a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which is what this is.
You say flip, you mean turn over between tenants.
Yeah, that's right. Turn over, wash the sheets, vacuum, do all that stuff, scrub the toilets, which I don't actually mind that much. You can throw on a podcast, but I don't really have the time to do it, so I don't want to. So let's real quick talk about what we're going to do and the projects. We're going to film this thing. I hope to put out a new video every week showing our progress or lack of it. We've got some trips coming up, so there's going to be a couple weeks where we don't do much, but we've got, I would say, 3 or 4 main projects in this house. The first one is the kitchen. The kitchen, how would you describe the kitchen?
Horrible.
Yeah, it is very small. I've heard people refer to it as a one-butt kitchen because only one person can fit in there at one time.
So my assessment of the kitchen is a little bit worse than yours. Not only is it a one-butt kitchen, it's like a half-a-butt kitchen. It's so tiny. And I am not a tall person. I can stand in the kitchen and touch the ceiling. And if you can see behind us, we have 16-foot ceilings in this whole house, except for the kitchen where they're like 7-foot ceilings. There are, 6 cabinets in the kitchen? Like, it's just super tiny. Lilliputian, I would say. It is so small. We are going to raise the roof, we're going to knock out the wall, and we're going to expand it because the rest of the house, as you will see in a moment, is one big open space, and then the kitchen's all closed up. Let's open that up. So now it's one big open space with a kitchen in the corner that is also open.
The next big project we're going to do is to put hardwood floors in all 3 of the bedrooms. Currently 2 of them have old, nasty carpet, and the other one has some kind of pergo or laminate that doesn't look too nice. The rest of the house has this beautiful red oak, so we're going to put red oak in the rest of the house. This house actually sits on a slab, so we're going to have to build up the flooring with wood. So that will be a little bit of a project. It's not as simply as nailing down wood. We'll have to put in a vapor barrier and build it up with plywood, but we'll show you that in a future episode. And then I thought I had a third major project. You know, one of them we have this ugly 1970s fireplace, so we're going to experiment with chalk paint on that and make it look a little bit better. I know what the other big project is, I forgot. So the fireplace is half a project, that's pretty small. A day or 2, hopefully we can make that look beautiful. The other one is...
Excuse me. We're gonna plan on a week for that fireplace. We're not gonna do it in a day or 2 because if we only take a day or 2, it's gonna look terrible.
Okay, well, we'll see. I'm more optimistic than you, but I always am. You're the realist and you're usually correct.
Usually?
Wow, there you have it.
Always.
The other project is the doors. All 3 bedrooms in this house had glass sliding doors for their interior bedrooms, not exterior. They were exterior doors, but they were on the inside. So we were going to put conventional doors in there.
When you say they had glass sliding doors, I think you're not doing it justice. They had sliding glass doors. I don't know why you're saying glass sliding doors. Nobody says it like that. Sliding glass doors, like a patio door, instead of actual walls and doors. So the entire wall of the bedroom was solid glass. So you could, I mean, they hung curtains, but you could see what was going on in the bedrooms. It's so weird.
And then we have a bunch of smaller little projects after that. We're going to need to paint the whole thing. We're going to sand down the floors, which I've never done before, but I think I'm going to attempt that myself. What could possibly go wrong? We're going to put new trim up. We have ugly tile in the bathrooms, so I think we're going to experiment with tile paint. And yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of other little things. We've got some ugly railings, but yeah, those are all minor things after the kitchen, the doors, and the flooring in the bedrooms. But the first step is to get this place cleaned up. We're sitting on a nice couch in the middle of the living room, so let's get everything out of here so we can start making a mess. So most of this house has these beautiful old red oak floors. But what they didn't do so well, I like that flooring, but what they didn't do so well is they put this pergo in this office here. If you're going to have 2 different types of floors next to each other, they have to be drastically different. You can't put 2 kinds of similar things next to each other. And this looks fake, so I'm going to tear it out. It is on slabs, so we're going to have to build up the slab a little bit. And then we're going to put 3/4 inch nail down red oak on top of it. It's going to be unfinished. That way we can sand down the rest of the house, stain, polyurethane it, whatever we're going to do all at the same time so it's all consistent. The other 2 rooms, which you cannot see, have carpet. We're going to do the same thing in them. Hardwood throughout. So week 1 is in the bag. The girls are back at school and we have started construction, or I should say not really construction because that means you're building something. We're mostly destroying things. How do you think it went?
I think it went as good as it could have gone. I'll hold this. We got rid of some heavy stuff. We got rid of some ugly stuff, and it's humming right along. Win number 1, I think, is something that should be really celebrated. It is the removal of the horrific sliding glass doors that were on every bedroom instead of actual normal doors that every other person on the planet has put onto their house. So I'm glad to get them gone. And bonus points, how do we get rid of these?
We got rid of them from Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. So while these doors were 40 years old, they were in pretty good condition because they have never seen the outside. They've always been inside. So I put them on there, and this guy who was building a cabin up in the mountains said, oh, these would be perfect. He came over and took them away. So I feel good. There's less junk in the landfill, and they get to have a new home. And I don't have to pay for a dumpster to throw them out. So it's a win on many different levels.
Speaking of not paying for a dumpster, you can see, maybe you can see behind us, we have removed some of the drywall. And we live in this weird little space where it's difficult to get a dumpster for a long period of time. So rather than trying to find a dumpster for a long period of time, we are using our neighborhood garbage system or garbage can collection service. And we have a garbage can where you can put 350 pounds of garbage in it. So we took out and all this drywall and filled up the can to the top. And we are going to put that at the curb on garbage day. And then we're going to start over again. There's actually not a ton of drywall that needs to go. But there is enough. I would think we were going to fill that up 2 or 3 times with drywall.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so we'll fill that up 2 or 3 times, but that saves us from getting a dumpster. Also, it saves us from paying for other people's garbage because when you have a dumpster, people will come and put their own crap in your dumpster. So we're not paying for anybody else's garbage to go away, just ours.
Yeah, let's talk about some other wins. 2 of the bedrooms here had carpet, and a third one had pergo, so we ripped out all the carpet, and I think we got most of it thrown out in one garbage day, so that was a win. We rolled it up real tight and fit it in the cans. Regarding the pergo, I was able to take it out in such a way that it was in great condition. I put it on Facebook Marketplace as a giveaway, and again, someone came and took it away. I'm very happy. Again, it gets to find a new home, and it's not going to be in the landfill, and we don't have to pay to throw it out, which is awesome.
Reduce, reuse, recycle as much as possible. That carpet, though, there was no reusing that. It was old and it had been used past its life. It was disgusting. So I'm glad that that is gone. And now we have cement floors. So now my treat next week is to rip out the carpet tack strips that are embedded in the cement. They don't come out easily. So hooray.
Let's talk about more wins. We started the demolition of the kitchen. We talked about that a little bit. We got some of the cabinets out, which you can see behind us are now gone. There are some heavy countertops, so we're going to have to wait for my helper, who will show up in a couple weeks, to help us get some of that out. But yeah, it is on its way.
Are you saying that your 6'5" helper is stronger than me?
I don't know about you, but he's definitely stronger than me. So I need all the help I can get. Yeah, so we're on our way. I'm trying to think of anything else that worked really well this week. We got more done than I thought we would because we only worked for 2 or 3 days, and it's extremely hot here. And I don't want to turn on the air conditioning. I don't want to turn it on when we're doing all this demo and there's dust in the air. That's not good for the air conditioner. So we only worked about 3 days, and we only worked for a couple hours in the morning each day. So I think we worked pretty fast and efficient. I'm happy with our progress the first week. Let's talk about things that did not go so well. We started demoing the cabinets, and the cabinets did not want to give up the ghost, right?
No, the cabinets did not want to come off the walls at all. The people who installed them wanted to make sure that they never came off, so they nailed them and screwed them and, I don't know, glued them. Every way you could think of to affix these cabinets to the walls, they did. And we now have holes in the wall that we need to repair because the new cabinets don't quite go that far. So, yay.
Yeah, I'm used to substandard work where people have 2 screws in there and the thing is barely hanging on, but this was the opposite. And usually I could take them off and reuse them. You put a coat of paint on them and throw them up in the garage. But yeah, a couple of these had to meet the sledgehammer. That's going to be it for them. They will serve no further purpose. Their time is over. Another thing, I don't like heat, and it's been extremely hot in Colorado this week. It's supposed to be like 97 or 98 today, right? Yeah, it's supposed to be super hot, and like I said, I don't like running the air conditioning when we're demoing because that's bad for the furnace, but I also don't like working when it's 84 degrees, so that is quite miserable. We try to start early and end early.
And one last thing that didn't go quite as well as planned. We set up the scaffolding over here on this side of the, what is that? The stair railing? Yeah, on this side of the stair railing. And then we were unable to get it through this teeny tiny little space over here. So we were going to go down the stairs and around and back up the stairs. And it turns out that when you do that, the ceiling isn't quite the same height over there as it is over here. And we put a hole in the ceiling that now has to be repaired. But luckily, we will already have a drywall expert here, so one more hole isn't going to be a big deal.
Am I the drywall expert? Or?
Unless we're hiring somebody, yes.
Yeah, I would. Expert is a very, very, very big stretch, but I am going to try to do the drywall finishing here myself. We actually don't have a lot to do, and it's called I think a crow's foot finish or maybe a smash finish, and you get this fancy brush and you dip it in the stuff and plop it up there. So we'll see how well it works out, and you will see how well it works out, but that's probably a couple weeks off. We have some work to do in between. What's next?
We're doing an IKEA kitchen in this house. So what's next is more cabinets. I got 3 cabinet bases put together this week, and now I get to put together all the rest of the cabinet bases. We have 3 kind of funky cabinet bases that are corner cabinets with like a circular thing on the inside. I've already put that together once at my other house, so I know it takes a really long time. Yay, now I have 3 of them to do. So that is my project next week, along with removing the tack strips so that they can build up the floor. We have a bare cement floor right now, and we're going to do a nailed down red oak wood finish in the 3 bedrooms. So we need to build up the floor so there is something to nail the oak into.
I think those spin-around things are called Lazy Susans, right?
Is it the Lazy Susan or is it the weird one that comes out?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I wonder if, like, Lazy Susan was probably some guy whose wife was named Susan, and she complained, so he invented that and probably made a lot of money, but she probably got it all when she divorced him for being a jerk and calling it a Lazy Susan. It should have been like a Handy Susan or a Speedy Susan. Then you've got some alliteration.
You can email your complaints to mr1500@1500days.com.
Wait, I'm just looking up for Susan. What would be something I could invent for you with Mindy in the name?
Marvelous Mindy.
Marvelous Mindy.
Magnificent Mindy.
Exactly, and that's how I would do it.
Amazing Mindy.
I'm not going to say like Manky Mindy or something like that. Is Manky a word?
Yes, it is, and you would never say Manky Mindy.
That's what I said. I would never say it, except I just did say it. But just to say
Twice.
that, I would never say it. Okay. You heard it here first. I'm going to invent the Marvelous Mindy. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be awesome, whatever it is.
It's going to change your life.
Yes. Okay, I think that's all. We'll see you in a week with more tales from our demo, and hopefully by then, construction adventures.